The British, along with ruling most of the known world at the time, ruled over India for about 200 years. And even though they left India about 70 odd years ago, we're still feeling the weight of their exploitation. We still have to sift through the wreckage that the British left us in, including throwing us into immense poverty, the exploiting of our resources, and of course, all the money that they took from us. In this video, we're going to focus on that last point. So, just how much did the British actually take from India? Well, to put it super mildly, a lot. Here's a little visual representation with food. Now imagine that this biryani is all the money in India. Now, it's a pretty full plate of biryani, right? Would have sustained us for a really long time, we would have been full and satisfied for a while. But this is how much the British took. And this is what they left us with. See, in the 2 centuries that the British was here, India was left with stark poverty, famine, and discontent. Before that, India was a country with a strong economy filled with royals, palaces, and power. All that dwindled pretty quickly. Research by economist and Professor Emeritus Utsa Patnaik, published by Columbia University Press in late 2018, estimates that the British depleted India of $45 trillion. And that this left the country in a state of poverty that has kept India at a major economic disadvantage ever since. In an interview given to Live Mint, Patnaik stated that India's per capita income growth was stagnant from 1900 to 1946, and that the British were siphoning off resources approximately equivalent to 26 to 36% of the central government's budget. India registered the second largest export surplus earnings in the world for 3 decades before 1929, she added in her interview. Now, we all know that the British came here, they did what they had to, they took from us, they used our resources, they used our manpower, and then they left. But Patnaik's research pointed out a sneaky ass system that the British used that allowed for intervention and appropriation of India's gold and forex exchange market, severely decreasing the actual inflow of cash into the country. See, all these international earnings, if they had remained within our country in its entirety, would have very likely significantly contributed to India's rise as a developed country. At the time, Indians were dying of malnutrition, sickness, and starvation. Patnaik explained that the British exported food grains while imposing a higher taxation on Indians, essentially taking away hard-earned money so as to free up more grain to ship abroad. But what happened to all that food and money that Britain was funneling out of India? Of course, part of it went to increasing the industrial and military strength of Britain. But Patnaik adds that a large chunk of it also went into investments in continental Europe and North America, building factories, railways, and other infrastructure, all at the cost of their then colonies, including India. Even war expenses were expunged from India. And when India couldn't meet those demands, debt was created and compounded by interest. As Congress MP and UN Under Secretary General Shashi Tharoor put it, we paid for our own oppression. Remember the biryani example? I paid for the biryani, and then a white person came and took it. According to Patnaik, a third of India's gross budgetary revenue was set aside for expenditure abroad. During World War II, Winston Churchill, a man often deemed a hero by the West, was stockpiling food out of the hands of sick and dying Indians, resulting in one of the worst famines ever known to man, the Bengal famine. See, all of these factors, one on top of the other, led to the British leaving this country removed of trillions of dollars, as estimated by Patnaik, and in the end, leaving the vast majority of the country way worse off. Had the British not come here and done this, our country may have been able to adequately rise out of poverty, provide better healthcare, prevent the spread of certain diseases, build infrastructure to combat the population growth, create more job opportunities, educational facilities, produce a larger volume of exports, basically reach a point of near financial security within the country. Just think about it. How much would we have been able to accomplish? How many lives would have been saved? How much more progress could have been made? Britain prospered, developed, and became a superpower. So the British can keep the damn Kohinoor for all we care. Just give us back all the money that you stole. Hell, we won't even charge you any interest.